First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my half-brother use the land I inherited as a venue for his wedding? I'm male 36, got married in 2017. My wife and I are not rich, and we couldn't afford a fancy wedding, so my dad hosted my wedding at his house. Mom and dad are divorced, and I lived with my stepdad and half-brother for years. We didn't invite a lot of people. Again, we couldn't afford a huge menu and more chairs and tables. But my mom insisted that I invite my stepdad and half-brother, and we did. Everyone was happy and excited for us, except my stepdad and half-brother. My half-brother openly made comments about the tables/chairs and made fun of my cheap suit and wife's wedding dress. Complained that the food was ordered from a crappy restaurant, while his dad was laughing out loud from behind. My in-laws were literally staring as he basically called my wedding a joke. Not to mention trash-talking my dad and saying that he was living in filth and the backyard was in fact a dumpster. I was so mad and my wife looked so upset. And we both were so embarrassed because he and his dad were both laughing and being rude. My mom did nothing. I tried to be civil, but at that point, the wedding was already ruined. I got contact with them both after they made my wedding a crap show. Mom said I overreacted and defended them, saying they were probably drunk. My dad was hurt as they openly offended him at his house. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 1 year later. It was devastating, and it was a lot for me to take. Neither my stepdad nor half-brother showed up at the funeral. I don't know why I'm not surprised. I inherited a piece of land from my dad that I put money on and made it a nice place for family get-together. Dad's family, to be specific. My half-brother is getting married soon. My mom showed him pictures of my land and he suggested using it as a venue for his wedding. So my mom called and told me to visit. I went to see her and I saw my half-brother there, along with stepdad. I was already leaving when he asked me to use the land I inherited from Dad as a venue for his wedding. He went on about what decorations he was going to use, and he said his fiancée saw the pictures and liked it a lot. I told them no. My mom told me to stop being rude and sit down and talk like an adult. I told them no, I won't be letting him use my property after what he did. My mom defended him, saying he didn't mean it and was just messing around. He ruined a once-in-a-lifetime event for me and didn't care, so I still refused. I got into an argument with them, and I left after I was called bitter. My mom never stopped texting telling me to help out my brother. She shamed me and called me selfish. She's now reaching out to my wife, telling her to convince me to agree. I was surprised his answer wanting to talk to me about it as well. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your stepdad is a bully who raised his son to behave the same way, and your mother is an enabler. You have absolutely zero obligation here, no matter how many flying monkeys they send in. Not the a-hole. Also, letting someone use your property as a wedding venue is a big ask. Where will everyone park? They will likely need portable potties, tents, lots of electricity, landscaping. Large trucks will need to drive through your property, garbage removal and cleanup, and on and on. Even if you miraculously end up not having to take care of any of it, you will need special insurance, possible leak or licensing, and they will need access to your property for at least 3 days. And there will be damage to your land. You cannot have that much activity on any property without some damage. Not the a-hole. You don't owe your brother anything, especially since you aren't close and he couldn't even attempt to show empathy for your loss or remorse for his hateful comments that clearly hurt you. The fact that my mom is actually trying to talk to my wife about it shows how much she disregards my opinions and my boundaries as an adult. He knows what he did and feels no remorse. And his dad too. Not the a-hole. Your mom sucks. I'm sorry. Mom definitely bites moose farts. Not the a-hole. And I hope you should just go no contact since the mom and the family feel so entitled. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not telling my in-laws the whole story about my family? I, 24 female, met my husband in college. We got married 2 years into our relationship. I met his parents the first Christmas we spent together, and I have a pretty good relationship, I would say. They asked me that first year about my family, and I told them I didn't have one. This is kind of true, but not technically. You see, I was the product of an affair my father had. My mother was an addict and OD'd soon after I was born. My father and his wife took me in, but I was treated as less than by everyone in the family. It didn't help that I was born into the middle of their family. I have 4 older siblings and 3 younger half-siblings. None of them wanted me in their lives because they were all told I was the product of an affair. My father was forgiven though. His wife made sure the kids didn't blame him, just me. My grandparents didn't want to lose my father and their other grandkids, so they kept quiet, and her family never had any reason to accept me. I was kicked out before my 18th birthday and was kinda alone. A friend's family took me in, and they're the reason I did go to college. But I don't have family. I never told my in-laws this, and they assumed all my family had passed away. I never corrected them or gave any kind of truth to them, until they found out it wasn't quite true. After a childhood friend made a post about my family on Facebook, and my husband's family saw it. They asked what that was about, and were hurt I would at least be a bit more clear that the people were still alive and just not good. I said I found it easier not to talk about it. My husband's sister is the most angry because she claims I lied to them, and anyone who claims they don't have families claiming they lost them. My husband told them and the rest of his family that I didn't owe them my story. Am I the a-hole? I feel bad now for not making it a little clearer. I wasn't expecting it to hurt their feelings. Now for the top comments. Not an a-hole. You don't have to tell your trauma to everyone, even your husband's family. It's up to you when you share certain stuff, and you clearly didn't feel the need to share this horrible part of your past. Your family, though, they're big-time a-holes. Yeah, it has taken almost 5 years of therapy for me to not blame myself for what happened with my biological family. For a long time, I was so sure it must have been partly, if not mostly, my fault. I'm very sorry to hear that you originally blamed yourself, even 1%. You are no way, no how, to be blamed for the actions of petty and hateful adults. I'm so glad you no longer blame yourself. The last thing you need is to yet again take responsibility for the poor and abusive choices of your family. Not an a-hole. You don't owe them anything, and it sounds like your husband is understanding, so that should be enough. It is your story to tell, that's it. Hopefully they will get over it with time, but it isn't your job to make their feelings feel better. If you feel comfortable explaining and want to, that's great. Otherwise, your husband can tell his family you aren't going to talk about it until you're, if ever, ready. Not an a-hole. I completely agree with this comment. You shouldn't have to tell them anything you don't want to. I had a brother who passed away when I was 15. I started dating my partner at 18 and have been with him for 7 years. I am still yet to tell his family about my sibling, and he respects that completely. This means that I have had to lie to his parents in some situation, but I simply don't feel comfortable talking about it or having people know. I do hope that if they ever find out, they'll be more understanding than your in-laws were. Your husband is right. I'm sorry that another family showing some ugly colors to you. Not an a-hole, and I hope your in-laws wise up and mind only the business you're comfortable sharing with them. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not including my sister in a family photo? I, 32 female, got married 4 years ago. My younger sister, 30 female, didn't attend because my wedding had a no children condition. At the time, my other siblings, 4 older brothers, 1 older sister, also had young kids, but all of them attended my wedding. My younger sister was the only one who chose not to. Her son was 14 months old at the time. She didn't want to leave him. I tried to accommodate by saying I could book a hotel room. I got married in a hotel ballroom, so that she could leave her son with her mother-in-law in the hotel room and check on him regularly. Her mother-in-law didn't mind, but my sister refused. I also offered to pay for a babysitter, but that was shot down as well. She didn't seem to want any option other than bringing her son to the wedding. She ended up not attending my wedding. My wedding went off without a hitch. Aside from her, everyone else from my family was there. I even had cousins, uncles, and aunts who traveled in from different countries to attend my wedding. After the wedding, I went no contact with her. She tried to pretend like she didn't skip the wedding and that our relationship would go back to normal. Obviously, it did not. The next 3 years, we did not have any communication. Last year, we reconciled after our dad begged us to. She apologized and said she was suffering from extreme anxiety and didn't want to be away from her son. We buried the hatchet and moved on. On to the issue. My husband and I are finally buying a house, so I went and printed several of my wedding pictures to put up in the house. I printed a picture of my parents and siblings with my husband and I on our wedding day and framed it. It is going on our living room wall. My younger sister isn't in the picture as she didn't attend the wedding. She is upset because she was excluded in the picture. She wants me to Photoshop her into the picture, and I said no. If she wanted to be in the picture, she should have made the effort to attend my wedding. I have already printed the pictures and don't want to reprint. Adding her in by Photoshop may compromise the quality of the pictures. Those are the reasons why I said no. She claims that I'm punishing her by doing this. I do have other pictures of her plus our family that I'm intending to put up in the house, but my wedding pictures are my favorite and the main attraction. My family have mostly stayed out of the drama, but my older sister did say she thought I was being petty. Am I the a-hole? After the wedding, I went no contact with her. You went no contact with your sister because you chose to have a child-free wedding and she chose to stay with her 14-month-old instead? Yeah, you suck. Big time. Don't have child-free weddings if you're not prepared for people with children and reasons for not wanting to leave their children to not come. I printed a picture of my parents and siblings with my husband and I on our wedding day. My younger sister isn't in the picture as she didn't attend the wedding. She's upset because she was excluded in the picture. She wants me to Photoshop her into the picture and I said no. This is, in a word, completely freaking ridiculous. You both qualify for that adjective. Everyone sucks here. Both of you need to get over yourselves. Talking about life is too short. I've seen a few posts here lately of I had a child-free wedding and I'm angry at the people with kids who did not attend. It doesn't work that way. You can choose a child-free wedding if you want, but that means there are consequences of people who cannot attend, especially people with kids under 2. I think the sister is being a bit absurd with the Photoshop request, but OP is much, much worse. You're the a-hole. I was going to say everyone sucks until I read your responses and I decided you're way worse than your sister. A wedding invitation is not a summon. People, especially people who are suffering from anxiety and other illnesses, are free to decline. You had the right to make any conditions on attending your wedding that you chose. Invitees are free to decline. You are clearly still stuck on your wedding as the event of the century and still making an issue of the fact that your sister didn't attend. Her wanting to be photoshopped into the picture is ridiculous, but I bet these pictures are another stick you used to beat her up for not attending your wedding. Get over it. Hey, her wedding is now the main attraction in her new house. All other family pictures will go up, but are trash compared to her in all her glory. This wedding will live forever this way. /sarcasm. Everyone sucks here. You are absolutely allowed to have a child-free wedding. However, you really can't get offended if people with children then choose not to come. Going no contact over it makes you the a-hole. However, the reality is she wasn't at your wedding and expecting you to change your wedding photo also makes her the a-hole. A wedding is usually a once-in-a-lifetime event. If someone chooses not to attend it, does send a very damning message that they don't care about you. I respect her reasons for not attending, but I still felt like she didn't value our relationship as sisters and was very hurt over it. We're okay now. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for stealing the spotlight at my best friend's wedding? So 2 days ago, my best friend contacted me to be her wedding singer. The original one cancelled on the last minute because he had a tonsillitis, and the wedding would be tomorrow, yesterday. So I accepted it. I can sing, but I'm into upbeat music, so I asked her if it's fine to sing pop. She said she actually preferred if I'll sing pop music. She even requested to make it explosive that she will suddenly forget she's being married. So since she's a K-pop fan too, and I recently just learned a new one along with the choreography, I decided to perform that instead. It is called Can't Stop Me by Twice. It is a high and loud song with very hard choreography. So the performance happened. I gave it my all. I sang energetically and showcased my explosive dance moves. Her groom, however, didn't like it. Actually, most of the visitors, who are mostly groom's relatives, didn't. His mom even scolded me in private, saying I ruined the solemnity of the event. My best friend apologized because she didn't expect that her in-laws and husband would hate it. But I think it is her right to ask for the song she wants because she's the bride. But then the groom is also a part of this and he also deserved what he wanted. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I didn't know wedding receptions were meant to be solemn. Thought they were supposed to be a big party to celebrate. No, I think you're confusing them with funerals. Maybe it was a funeral for the groom's mom? She even requested to make it explosive, that she will suddenly forget she's being married. Info. Yikes. Maybe the friend meant that it should be so awesome and would like they're at a concert the OP is putting on, not just the wedding singer crooning away. I hope so anyway. Yeah, my friend dislikes serious ambience after all. Actually, she really didn't want a solemn wedding and wear a wedding dress, but she had to follow the tradition. Not Hal. You did what your friend asked, and neither of you expected the response that happened. It would be a different matter if you deliberately performed it, knowing it would be disapproved of, but you didn't. You were just trying to help out your friend. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.